We all know that the used phone market is bountiful, and buying used is one of the best ways to get a good deal on something you're interested in. This is especially the case when it comes to foldable phones, such as the Galaxy Z Flip series and the Motorola Razr series. I mean, just look at that discount. But with that being said, the steep decline in value that these phones hold is definitely a point of concern. And what's even more concerning is the overwhelming amount of broken phone listings for the foldable phone segment that are available online. So the question that I'm going to be answering today is, should you buy a used foldable phone, or are they something you should avoid? And to be answering that, I bought myself a used foldable phone. In this package is a used Galaxy Z Flip 3. It's supposed to be in great condition, so we're gonna go ahead and verify that by opening up this package right here. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to use this phone for a week and I'm going to document the process. So with that being said, let's go ahead and unbox this phone right here and see what I got. Now this specific phone is from a seller called Soonersoft on eBay. I bought this phone for about $160 after tax and eBay fees, so it seems like a pretty darn good deal for a supposedly working phone. Of course, like I said, as soon as I get in this package, we're gonna go ahead and verify that, but I don't really know what's going on with this package. We'll just go ahead and do this, and here we go. We've got another package, yay! Let's go ahead and grab the phone from within its cardboard protectant. So here's the phone itself. Like I said, this is a Z Flip 3, and it's on Verizon. I use a different carrier, but Verizon usually unlocks their phones after about 60 days or something like that, so I should be able to use it on my carrier. Now, one point of concern about this phone is the fact that the back is coming up ever so slightly. That wasn't said in the description, so if it is an issue, I'm going to have to return this one and get another one, but again, we're gonna still video that process. Let's go ahead and open up the phone and take this off right there. And yeah, look at that. It looks pretty darn good. Now, of course, when you're buying one of these phones, you've got to be aware of this main screen right here. These are the biggest points of failure besides the hinge itself on these kinds of phones. And usually these screens will either fail from folding it too much, sometimes they just end up breaking, or dropping this phone while it's open. Of course, there's no real glass on this phone, so it is very, very easy to damage the OLED display. But with that being said, let's go ahead and try and power this thing on. See if it has any juice. And it didn't want to power on, so let's go ahead and try it again. Ooh. Well, we've ran into an issue, it seems. I'm getting no display. Oh, okay. Well, now we have display. That's very, interesting. So, this one, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to send this one back, it seems, because, yeah, it seems like the display is having issues. That's interesting. So let's go ahead and try and open it again. And it's on. This is weird. Okay. You see, this is exactly what I mean. This is exactly what I'm worried about with these kinds of phones on the market. It seems as though another issue with these kinds of phones is the flex ribbon that goes in between both of these screens. Now, of course, either the main board resides up here or it resides down here, but regardless of which, there is a big ribbon cable that usually goes through these kinds of phones, and it connects everything through that. And if you fold it open too much, they might break. But it seems like I'm not having the issue anymore. So like I said, what I'm going to go ahead and do is reset this phone because of course it is in Spanish. It has not been reset. So we'll go ahead and go all the way down right here. And we are going to hit reset. Alrighty guys, so I'm setting up the phone right now, and as you can see, there's the take care of your screen pop-up that every single foldable phone has. So, of course, when you're buying one of these phones, you want to make sure not to dig your fingernails into the screen or drop it face down. Like I said, these phones are very, very fragile compared to your normal average smartphone. So that's another thing to look at when you're wanting to buy one of these. But again, that's where hopefully the used market comes in handy. Like I said, I'm going to use this phone for just a little bit, and if it doesn't work out, I'll send it back and I'll get another one. Regardless, let's go ahead and close the phone, open it back up, and it seems to be working. One thing you really have to get used to, and I'm going to have a lot of trouble getting used to it, to be honest. So like anything that passes along the screen, whether it be the text or even your own finger, it feels very weird. It really does. But I honestly think that I'll be able to get used to it. I just got to give it a chance. Alright, well, it's confirmed. I have to return this thing. It's literally unusable. So, alongside the swollen battery or whatever is going on with this back cover, when it turns on, it's totally fine, right? But when I go to close this thing, you saw that? It's not supposed to shut the phone off. The phone's still on. It's still on. Like, it's not... I have to turn it off and then turn it back on. We'll do it again. It's not supposed to do that. Not at all. And it's recreatable every time at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and reset this one, and we're going to bring this one back to the seller, and hopefully they give me another one. Alrighty, and just like that, a week later, I've got 2 packages for you guys. Now you may be wondering, what happened? Why do you have 2 extra packages? And I'll explain that in just a second, but let's go ahead and open this package and see what's inside. And would you look at that, it's another folding phone, but this one's a little bit different from the one I showed previously. This is a Motorola Razr 40, aka the Motorola Razr from 2023. And as you can see, it's in pretty rough shape. The main screen does not work, however the phone does power on. I'll be using this device for parts for a phone that I'm about to unbox for you guys, but look at this screen. It is absolutely destroyed. I'm peeling off the screen protector because why not? It's fun. As you guys can probably tell already, this is a voiceover. Unfortunately, at the time of recording this video, I came down with a sickness and I didn't have a voice for about a week. So I had to kind of make do here. And don't worry, this is not the main attraction. Let's go ahead and put this to the side because I've got another package for you guys. You see, in this second package is another Motorola Razr 2023 that I won for stupid cheap. I mean, I won this phone for $55 out the door on eBay auctions. Now, unfortunately, with the cheap price comes a little bit of issues. The seller of this phone described the issues to be the outer screen and the rear-facing cameras. But as you can see, this phone is in really, really nice shape. And the seller was right. The outer screen is damaged. It is cracked, as you can see right there. But let's go ahead and power this thing on. And right off the bat, this thing looks so much nicer than the Galaxy Z Flip 3 that I had beforehand. Look at that, the rear-facing cameras do actually work. So I guess he was wrong about that. But anyways, let's go ahead and put this phone to the side, and let's grab the parts phone. And what I'm going to be doing is transplanting the outer screen from the parts phone onto my nice one. Now, unfortunately, since I did get a good deal on this phone, I didn't exactly get the carrier that I wanted. The nice phone is on Xfinity Mobile, and this parts phone is on Cricket. But honestly, I don't really mind that because I got this phone for so cheap that it doesn't really matter to me. I'll still be able to use this as my secondary device and get a good video out of it. Now, taking apart this phone is actually pretty straightforward. I used a heat gun to remove the back panel, and then after that, there's a bracket with 2 Phillips head screws that covers the connector for this outer screen. We'll go ahead and use the heat gun once more to loosen up the adhesive on this outer screen, and then use a pry tool to separate that adhesive from the body. Now, speaking of adhesive, I will be utilizing the OEM adhesive from both the screen and the back panel because yeah, it is still pretty strong, and at the end of the day, these phones don't really hold any water resistance whatsoever, so it doesn't really matter. But as you can see, I finally got this outer screen removed, so I think it's time to put this to the side, grab our nice phone, and power that one down. Now, taking apart this phone is going to be the exact same process, so I'm just going to go ahead and speed it up for you guys. And as you can see, we're removing this back panel. Next up is the non-working outer screen. Then we've got this bracket right here. We'll go ahead and slap the new one on, and I'm bringing out the heat gun to loosen up the adhesive for better adhesion to the frame. Now I think it's time to test out our repair and see if we did good. And would you look at that? It works! Perfect! Let's go ahead and install that other bracket. And then we'll go ahead and place the rear panel back on. And once again, use the heat gun to loosen up the adhesive so that we can better adhere it to the frame. And as of now, we've turned a partially working razor into a fully working razor. And it looks like it was never touched. I am super happy with this repair. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and use this phone for about a week as my secondary device, and I'll get right back with you guys. Alrighty, so I've been using this phone for about a week now, and I've got a lot of thoughts. Number one, I'm so glad I returned the other one and found this one instead. This razor is honestly a lot cooler than the Galaxy Z Flip 3, and I paid about half as much for this specific phone. But like I said, I've been having a lot of fun using this as my secondary phone. And to be quite honest with you, I haven't come across any other issues. Now on a normal phone, this kind of screen size would be a little bit annoying when it comes to carrying this device around. But of course, since this thing folds, it's really not that bad. And the overall thickness of this phone is only a couple millimeters more than the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus with a case that I have currently. And yeah, I'm overall pretty happy with this purchase. Now, as for whether you guys should buy a used folding phone, well, I have a couple points to make about that. On one hand, I say no, probably not. But on the other hand, I say, yeah, go for it. I feel like if you live an active lifestyle, then buying one of these probably isn't the greatest idea in general. Again, I go back to the point that the screen on these things is so fragile, and it's honestly a little unnerving to use this phone, at least at first. And you're taking a big risk, especially with an active lifestyle, in case you drop these kinds of phones, or you get a lot of dust in your pockets and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I feel like, yeah, you should go for one of these, but only if you're able to return it. Like I said, you can pick one of these up for super cheap. Again, I won the bid on this phone for $55. With the parts phone for $25, that brings my total to around $80 to make a perfectly working cell phone. The Z Flip I bought was around $160, and that was still a pretty decent price for that one as well. So if you really want to get into some new technology and you want to try something new out like this, then I highly recommend picking one up that you are able to return in case you get a defective one. Like I talked about before, There's a lot that can go wrong with a folding phone such as this one. And as I always like to say, you want to be safe no matter what you buy. But I think my overall opinion has definitely changed compared to the opinion I had when I first picked up a folding phone. At the start, I was definitely scared of this technology, especially scared of it breaking in my hands. But after using this phone for a week, I want to say that these aren't actually as fragile as you may think. It's definitely a bit more hard than you would think to scratch the screen on this phone. And of course, when you have it folded, you're not really going to have the risk of scratching it or getting any dust in between the screens, especially on a device that folds perfectly, such as the Razr 2023. But yeah, overall, I definitely recommend picking up a used foldable phone if you are in the market for one. And I highly recommend picking up one of these, the Razr 2023. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. It didn't go the way that I thought it would for sure, but it was still fun to make nonetheless. And it really put me into perspective about these used devices. So yeah, what do you think? Are you gonna pick up one of these? Let me know in the comments below, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Peace out.